So Rapid Style Strike Urshifu is the one that I picked, and between the two, he's better at dealing with Sturdy and Focus Sash, but he does slightly less damage than the Dark type than Single Stripe, and he doesn't have Fighting in Dark is some of the best coverage in the game, but there's not many physical water types, so Urshifu's really good at that. Plus he has 100 attack, he has 100 HP, 100 defense. It's a really good combo, but he has 60 special defense, which is not great. Especially super effective special hits will do a lot of damage, but other than that, he'll take physical hits pretty well. 130, he has 63 special attack. He's not gonna be a special attacker, pretty much. He has 130 attack and 97 speed, which is a really good speed thing, really good combo in speed and attack. It's not like the fastest thing, but he hits hard and he has good enough speed to where it doesn't matter. He has the ability Unseen Fist. Only Urshifu has it, both forms, and pretty much any contact move goes through protection, whether it's protect, detect. I'm assuming it goes through Baneful Bunker, and pretty much every protective move that's not a max move, it isn't max guard, I'm assuming. And he's fighting water, which is a decent typing. You're weak to flying, grass, electric, psychic, and fairy, but you have a lot of resistances in rock, dark, bug, steel, fire, water, and ice. So you have a lot of resistances, but you also have a good amount of weaknesses. Again, with the weaknesses, electric, psychic, and fairy are mostly special, so I would stay away from those because they'll do a lot of damage, if not one-shot you from a powerful enough special move. But this is one way to run Urshifu, which is Surging Strike. His signature move is Surging Strike too. Hits 3 times and always goes through crit. That's why I said he's really good for sashes and sturdy. But Surging Strike, Close Combat, Poison Jab, and Acrobatics, I would say. And with the Citrus Berry, I would say if you're going to run it like this, you could drop. If you don't want to run Acrobatics, I would drop the Citrus Berry and put a Life Orb. But Acrobatics, in case you want to Dynamax, it's really good. Like, this isn't like a designated Dynamax, but it's always good to have a backup option. Like, this would be really good as a Dynamax because Acrobatics raises your speed. Close Combat raises attack. Surging Strike, especially if you G-Max, Surging Strike hits through any protective move. And Poison Jab's good coverage. You don't have, like, if you don't want to run Acrobatics for one, run Life Orb. And I would still say max speed, max attack, Timid, or Jolly. Because if you get outsped and you get hit with a special move, you get one shot. But that's his biggest weakness, is just getting hit with a really strong special move and just getting taken out because you're very low special defense. But Poison Jab and Acrobatics are these. I would say you have to run Surging Strike and a fighting move. It's up to you whether you want to run Close Combat or a different move. You could run Drain Punch just for the sustain. You could run Brick Break if you want to get rid of Light Screen, or Reflect. I would say one of those two. I wouldn't say run Superpower because it lowers your attack, but I would say run one of those two. And then Poison Jab and Acrobat. I would say you have to run these two, Surging Strikes, and then a fighting move. Also, since it always crits, Surging Strike is pretty much better than every other water move, other than if you want to run Aqua Jet. Like, unless you want to run Aqua Jet with Surging Strike so you can get the priority with Aqua Jet, but Surging Strike's better than every other water move because it's guaranteed to crit all 3 hits. So it'll do more damage than any other move, unless it crits. But the last 2 spots, though, honestly, can go to whatever you want. He learns all 3 of the punch moves, which are all really good and great coverage. Zen Headbutt, Rock Slide, or Stone Edge, if you want to play the accuracy gamble. Iron Head, just up to what you want in that last spot. I would just say it's what you want. What you want the coverage-wise, what you want to cover. But I picked Poison Jab and Acrobatics. Acrobatics will do 110 power once the berry drops, so that's really good. Plus the coverage it gives. Poison Jab for fairies. But could also, another way is a Dynamax one, which is Surging Strike, which actually becomes 130 power, because most moves it's normally based off your base power, and especially with multi-hit moves, they do a lot less Dynamax because their base power is so much lower. But Surging Strike does 130. Especially, I know it does Gigantamax. I don't know about Dynamax, but I feel like it still should. But Gigantamax move hits through all protection. It's pretty much the same as his ability, which is really weird, but whatever. Close Combat, Stone Edge, and then again, that last spot, just whatever you want for that last coverage spot. I would pick, though, I wouldn't pick Poison Jab because it raises your special attack, which doesn't really help you that much. You could run Iron Head. Iron Head's a good option. dig for ground coverage because you don't have that, and it would hit 1 turn, which is really good. Zen Headbutt for psychic terrain and just the coverage. Or you could run either one of the punches too, just if you want the coverage, one of the punches. But I would say you could also run acrobatics in this spot, or aerial ace, because aerial ace actually does slightly more damage than acrobatics. But it depends on what you want in that last spot. The acrobatics / aerial ace will give you the speed, and that's why I didn't give him a nature, because it depends. If you want to run the speed and then just bring him in on something slow that's about to faint, or bring him in on something slow that either they're gonna sacrifice it and let it faint, or they switch out, and either way you just use the flying move to get the speed, and then you can run adamant and go from there. But it just depends on what you want, because close combat will also raise your attack. You could run the jolly or the timid. I think it's jolly. Yeah, jolly, just to be safe and always outspeed. But it's up again. Last move, it's up to you. This one, this is just a tanky Urshifu, which is just a bulk up Citrus Berry, and then Drain Punch for some sustain. Surging Strike for, I would say you need to run Surging Strike only because if you go against something that also is trying to set up defensively, you'll win that battle, because you're always going to crit and ignore their defense, which is really good. And then again, last spot, acrobatics, because you're going to lose your item. Either Iron Head, Poison Jab for the fairy coverage, Stone Edge for flying. Stone Edge or Thunder Punch for flying, because a Pelipper would really get in the way. Pelipper would be a problem. Anything that resists water and that is flying would be a problem here. But again, that last spot first, he has so many like good coverage moves. It's just what you want, or whatever your team needs, really. But the plan with this is just to bulk up once or twice and just Drain Punch, Surging Strike, everything down. You could also take it away from health and go full speed. You could just go full speed, jolly, and just use the bulk up for extra damage. But I would say it's what you want, because you run to the issue of battle spot. This one would be really in battle spot if you know they don't have a special attacker left. But you run into the issue of when doing this, you could set up as many bulk ups as you want, and they bring out an Alakazam. An Alakazam with Life Orb, Modest, that comes in and just destroys you, or something like that. A really strong special attacker, doesn't matter how many bulk ups, or you take out one and they bring in the Alakazam and it just takes you out. You always run into that risk with him. That's why I don't really like this set, which is just Iron Defense Body Press. He can do it because he has the bulk, but you would have to have the safety of knowing they don't have a special. You'd have to have the safety of knowing they don't have a special attacker. But the last spot could be, you could do Chesto Resto. In this, just run Chesto Berry with Rest in the last spot for any status. But you'd have to know they don't have a special attacker. You could just run Citrus Berry and another offensive move. Again, Acrobatics, because you're not gonna have an item. But again, I said I like Surging Strike here in case you try to run into something else that's trying to Iron Defense or set up. But at the end of the day, I wouldn't run this because they ran a special attacker. You get KO'd. This one, it's not that big of a threat if you run the speed one, because you're getting the attack anyway. But it's that. Also, what you could do too, these are some of the other moves I learned. The Aqua Jet if you want the priority. Counter if you know you're about to get hit with a really strong physical hit, because he has a lot of health. So if something does 50% of your health, you're going to hit them back with 341 damage. So unless they're, depending on how much health investment you have, but you're going to take a hit and they're going to take that. If you counter, you're going to double the damage. So not a lot of things are going to have that much health to survive that hit, and a lot of things will get KO'd off the counter. Another thing you do though is reversal or endure Salag Berry with reversal and do a lot of damage, because reversal will have 250 power. Salag Berry will raise your speed. You could either run Jolly or Adamant. It's up to you how much speed you want, but at that point, you're going to do a lot of damage. I would say Adamant because you're getting a speed boost, but pretty much Endure, Reversal. You could also run, Reversal, Endure, I forgot what it's called, Surging Strike, and then a coverage move here. So you're not locked in reversal. You can take a hit, do some damage, and then Endure, get the Salag Berry, and then do damage. The last spot, I wouldn't run Aqua Jet. I would run, again, another coverage move, whatever you want. And that last spot, Iron Head, one of the punches, Poison Jab, Zen Headbutt, whatever. But that's how you use Urshifu and Pokemon Sword and Shield.